boots on ground, serve with pride, never back down from the fight. Deserts and the city streets, we keep pushing through the night. Battle tested, battle ready, earn respect through blood and sweat. Unapologetic veterans and we ain't finished yet. Veterans speaking truth, real stories, breaking down the walls, tearing through the lies. This is our time to rise. From the Corps to the Army, Navy, Air Force to Coast Guard, standing ready, red, white, and blue. No filter on the mic, just the truth we bring. Welcome to the show where the real vets sing. Unapologetic veterans, turn it up loud. We serve, we fought, we see it proud.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another wonderful episode of the Unapologetic Veterans Podcast. I am your host, Josh.
And I am his co-host, Stalls.
No other guy. We're not doing it.
No.
Not bringing him
Other
back.
guy. No.
So
I haven't done the desk pop, so you say I can't do it unless I do a desk pop.
that's right. You can't. No desk pop. So I don't know. Maybe if we ever get our own studio, we can get them pop guns and do a desk pop.
Do a desk pop? Hell yeah.
But so I know we're only 120 seconds into this thing, but huge news, everybody. So I told people last week or the week before that I ordered some hats, and here they are, the Unapologetic Veterans Podcast hat. And also Freedom Forge, phenomenal guy. Y'all need to check him out.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We got some merch.
But you see who got the merch first. Like,
I mean, I paid for it.
This
so
guy. All he had to do was be like, hey, man, can you send me some money and I'll get you some shirts?
All right, dude. Hey, money. Hey, man, send me some money. I'll get you some shirts.
There you go. Absolutely awesome.
I'm just saying, but yes, I have
absolute quality though. I mean, I love that shirt.
Yeah, no, the shirt is phenomenal. High quality shirt. I got a flag over here, and on the back it's this same logo but back size, so it's blown up. I've got two other shirts because I had them send me a couple samples just to see what they look like. Phenomenal. And then I've got 6 of this hat, so black on black, and then because I didn't want to look like I'm wearing one color, I have an olive drab front on black. So I've got 11 of them. 3 of them are spoken for because one I'm wearing one. One I'm going to send to Stalls, and then I've got one other one for somebody else. If anybody wants them, hit me up. We can work out the details, and I can get you a hat. And then also, I'm working on some shirts. Stalls created some very unapologetic logos, and I think y'all are going to like them.
Shall we give them a preview?
No previews.
Okay, no previews.
No previews.
Yeah, Zach is actually currently working on getting the backgrounds taken off those. I think that they both would have looked really cool on like a white shirt, but once Zach gets the backgrounds removed off of that for us and we can get it on a shirt, we will definitely add it to our merch shop, which we do have.
We have a temporary merch store until I can get our website up and running with our store. You can go get hats. They don't look like this one. I've got 2 hats designed. I've got some stickers up there if anybody wants to put stickers all over everything. I don't know. Currently, I have shirts created. I have to flip the flag on them because when I put it on the shirt, it put it on backwards. So I took them down temporarily, and I got to fix that. Never enough time in the day, my friend.
Yeah, you've been quite busy here lately.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I can't take it anymore. The suspense is killing me. We have this. How should I put this?
Creator,
Yeah, he's a streamer,
comedian,
creator, yeah, comedian, veterans
actor,
advocate.
big time
Yeah,
veterans advocate.
definitely an actor. Y'all should check out his video.
Definitely an actor. Dude, all right. So before we bring him up, my favorite TikTok of his is when he did the entire scene from The Rookie, and it was, "Is that a baton in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me, bro?" I mean, all of the facial expressions, everything down to a freaking T, dude, down to a T. So, I already love that episode of The Rookie. So when I saw his version of it, I freaking died.
Absolutely. Hilarious. Well, without further
Further
delay.
ado,
Yeah, I do. I was going to say. Oh, hey, look who it is, guys.
Oh, hi.
Who's this beautiful gingered man?
Thank you so much for all the lies you tell as I get in here.
It's only a lie if you don't believe it.
Yeah,
I mean, he
a bad
is
actor, yes, and comedian is the very loose term. That's meh.
Okay, well, you may not intend to be a comedian, but your content is hilarious.
absolutely, absolutely.
I do my best to make people laugh. That's all it is.
Oh, hey, look who's in the comments section. Hold on. Oh,
Hi there.
there's. Oh, hey there.
Oh, hi there. The way more famous individual. She's the boss. She's the one that operates everything.
Oh, that's my handsome puddin' pop. Really? we
still
now
works.
we now have to change his name from Synicl to Puddin' Pop.
No, we don't. That's a whole other thing my community put on. That, just to clarify, but it's not a pet name or anything. That literally my community got together, and I don't like my birthday. I don't like holidays. I don't like anything like that. So they decided together to be like, prior to my birthday, started up an Operation Pudding, where they sent me a whole bunch of stuff that I'm still receiving packages for. It had to open them on stream, and of course had a little good old fashioned Southern come apart and sweating from the eyes and everything. And it was an amazing show of support. But yeah, Operation Pudding is over. You hear me, y'all? It's over.
He says it's over.
I may have heard or seen some stuff.
I may have seen a video from a certain somebody, to be named nameless, and where she said, "Hey guys, let's surprise him."
Yeah, he's asleep and I'm unsupervised. Let's get after this. Oh, thanks, babe.
That's the one disadvantage of time zones.
Yeah, no, definitely. But no,
You're sound asleep and you leave her unsupervised.
I don't have a choice. I got to sleep at some point, or I just stay awake 24/7. She gets mad at me for not sleeping. So I don't know. I lose
Very
either
true.
way.
Well,
thank you for the warm welcome. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure to have you here. I know we tried to possibly make something work a few months ago, I guess now, but I'm glad even though we are officially an hour late, as Homefront pointed out earlier.
I mean, but it's fashionably late.
Yeah.
We're really fashionable.
Very. Can't you
We're
tell
just
by
very fucking late.
our beards and our freaking chains and...
I don't have a chain. I'm chainless.
Oh, well.
I unfortunately, my chain doesn't. I think I make up for it in beard, though. So
Absolutely.
It almost covers it, so it's.
Yeah.
Mine's not that long yet. Well, that, and I did go to the barbershop earlier today. So, but for those that may not know who you are, why don't you give us a little brief introduction on who you are?
All right. Hey, y'all. I'm Synicl, TikTok personality, streamer, full-time stay-at-home dad, U.S. Navy veteran from 2007 to 2012. I got out, and in the middle of the recession, couldn't find work. I had to go back to college and failed out of college for the second time. Started working in a copper mine and didn't realize at the time, I thought everyone just wanted to start a shotgun. I thought that was regular. And what I didn't realize is that I was dealing with the back end of PTSD and emotionally stunted, not really dealing well with my depression, anxiety, and anger. And luckily, when I started working for that copper mine, I found a group of people that very closely related to the military. It was a very dangerous work environment. It was stressful, and yet we always seemed to be taking care of each other. And I realized what I was missing in life. And it was this kind of mental come together for me when I realized how much I missed the military and the camaraderie. Not so much the bureaucracy and the red tape and the government bullshit, but the guys, the people that exactly, the people. So then after a few years working there, I had my first son with my now ex-wife. And we decided, since she was making $3 more than me, that I would become a full-time stay-at-home dad and go back to school yet again using the GI Bill to supplement our income. And that's when my mental health really took a dive, because being a full-time stay-at-home parent is probably one of the worst jobs I've ever had, on top of everything else, still dealing with my anxiety and depression that I never really addressed. I was locked in a house with a little person that would scream at me anytime he needed something. And it was hard. It was really hard. It was lonely, and it was a fight. Luckily, I found TikTok, and I made a couple videos, some funny Navy story times, and found a community of people who just started embracing me. And I realized how deep I was down the hole. And I got involved with this incredible community that I've now surrounded myself with. And it's absolutely amazing, the love and support they drop on me on a daily basis. And I have taken the opportunity that I got ridiculously lucky on that social media platform to tackle topics like men's mental health, veteran and PTSD awareness, discussing the sensitive societal issues that affect us on a day-to-day basis in a kind, caring, but logical way on any platform that everyone comes to watch me on. And no matter what, I always try to either make someone laugh or learn or change their perspective in a way that it's in a conversational instead of a debate or a fight, because we're so polarized in these days, whether it's politics or religion or money. We're so right versus left, us versus them, but we're all somewhere in the middle. We just have to find that common ground, and that's what I try to do on a regular basis.
I would say you do a damn good job at it, if I do say so myself. I mean, you're right. It's weird, right? So you kind of touched on something that I was going to bring up a little bit later, but since you've said it now, I'm gonna say it. Like, so when you wear a uniform, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Space Force, even though I've never personally met a Space Force person, I don't, they're not real. Coast Guard, it's like when you're wearing the uniform, it doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, how you grew up, how much money you got in your bank account. It doesn't matter. Everybody is there. They understand, and it truly does not matter. But the second that uniform comes off, it's like, hey, you like this guy? Hey, you like that guy? No, like, fuck you. No, it goes back and forth, and it's like, I think for veterans specifically and military folks, it's a little bit easier to jump through those hoops and kind of find that common ground to some degree. But when you put us with a bunch of civilians, there is no common ground that's readily visible. What have you found to be the common ground in your experience?
The common ground is that everyone is affected by the military. You think of active duty, you're thinking of what most people don't understand. You're thinking about 7% of the population. You're thinking about a tiny fraction of percentage of the people who actually get the honor and privilege to sign that dotted line and to go and do. But for some reason, everyone forgets that everyone has a dad, an uncle, a cousin, an aunt that served in the Marine Corps, whatever. Somebody has some family member somewhere that has been touched or related to the military. Even people that are third degree removed. They're like, oh, I've got an aunt that had a son that went to Iraq and got blown up by an IED. Like, someone has been affected, like that they have been touched in some way by the military. And that right there is a common ground where you need to bring people back to that, to tell them that we're just people. Like that's one thing that I try to explain to people, no matter what uniform someone is wearing, A, they're a person, and B, it doesn't matter what uniform you're wearing, or if you're wearing a uniform at all, you can still have a heart of service. You can still have a heart of service that wants to go and serve your community in whatever capacity you can. One of my favorite people on TikTok, Coach Jam the Unbroken, he's got cerebral palsy. He works with the VA, and dude is the strongest, pardon my French, motherfucker on the face of the planet. He lifts on a regular basis. He drags sleds, and then he goes and works with veterans to help get them the benefits they need. And dude has never worn a uniform. He wasn't able to, but he has the heart and of service that stronger than anyone else I've met. But that's the common ground.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit on it. Like, now we don't have that uniform to put on, so now we're trying to find that how do we help our community type thing. And so for you, it's TikTok and your funny Navy story time and your dial-a-vet and things like that. But you also take time to do serious videos. Like I went through a lot of your TikTok here in the last couple of weeks, because we've been trying to schedule to get you on here for a while. But
Life
you
happens.
actually, hey, life does happen for real. But you take time, right?
She had to come visit you.
You take time to do those serious videos where it's, hey, this isn't going to be my normal video. This isn't going to be your funny Navy story time. This isn't going to be your dial-a-vet time. It's going to be, I'm cynical. This is what's on my mind, and this is what we're going to talk about. And then your community, the community that you've built, and I know that you built your community mainly on because you were streaming a lot before you had a situation with the whole streaming thing, right? Like you're on Twitch.
I started on TikTok, and then I started doing lives and everything. And I was like, oh, this is kind of working out. And I switched to streaming on Twitch, and then I got banned on Twitch, and then I switched to YouTube, and now I'm making another move very in the future. And I discuss on any platform whatever it comes to my mind. If I'm having a bad day, if I'm having a bad mental health day, whatever's on my mind comes out my mouth. Whatever's on my heart is going to be discussed. And it doesn't matter if it's serious. It doesn't matter if we're talking about substance abuse. It doesn't talk if we're talking about self-harm, if we're talking about divorce, if we're talking about relationships and love. We always discuss it in a way that no matter what, we can disagree so hard. We still need to be able to find that common ground. And that's what I do with my community on a regular basis, is even though we're discussing that sensitive societal issues that affect us, we still need to be able to discuss it and find that common ground. But we need to be able to talk. I think that's one thing we've lost as a society, is being able to communicate.
Yeah, to have that
one thing I
conversation.
noticed, like going through your comments, your community shows up. And yes, sometimes the comments are out there in left field. But sometimes a lot of times the comments are really, they're endearing. People appreciate your point of view. People appreciate the way that you approach things. People are saying nice things about, Synicl. They're not, you get your trolls who go on and, say stupid shit all the time, but 90% of your comments are people who support you, people who love you, people who are watching your channel on a consistent basis. And that's the one thing that I've noticed.
My favorite thing, my absolutely favorite thing, is to find people that I don't agree with. I actively go out and seek them. I want to sit here and disagree with you, but I want to be able to show you I'm a real human being. And that was one. There was a weird transition part. Because I started on TikTok doing my funny Navy story times. That's what kind of kicked off the whole thing. And I started telling you funny Navy story time and just talk about a normal instance that would be like a regular Tuesday night for most of us in the military, and all the civilians and everybody who's never been in that like mindset or in that part of it. They didn't really get that. That's just a regular thing. And yeah, it's funny, but to them it's fucking hilarious. And that's what kind of spurred on into Dial-A-Vet. Was I had this idea behind a cleaning service. I said field day cleaning because everyone, no matter what branch you join, no matter when, where, or how you join, everyone gets taught how to clean. It is one of the first things, and whether it's yourself, whether it's your compartment, whether it's a weapon system, you get taught how to clean. And everyone knows the expectations of a white glove inspection. So just think if we had a whole bunch of veterans come in and be like, hey, this apartment needs white glove ready, let's go. We got 45 minutes. And just a whole bunch of dudes show up with mops and bottles of Windex and vacuum cleaners. And then it kind of took
in maids outfits, right?
Yeah, it took a left turn on Van Buren. And all of a sudden it was like, well, what if it was big, burly, beer-bellied, tattooed veterans showing up in maid outfits? And no, I'm not putting it on. And that kind of spurred this whole thing where everyone had this assumption of who I was based on they saw Funny Navy Story Times or they saw Dial-A-Vets. And that was the expectation in their head of what I was like. And I started talking about the more serious topics. I started talking about men's mental health, not just veterans. I started talking about men's rights in relationship and actual equality. And I found a lot of people didn't agree with me. They were like, we do not agree on this. And I'm like, and I don't know how many times I had to say it. I spent probably 6-8 months fighting with people, literally fighting with people saying, okay, you can have your perspective. You can have your opinion and your beliefs. That's perfectly fine. First of all, it doesn't mean it's fact. And second of all, it doesn't mean that my opinions and beliefs are wrong. They're just different than yours.
Right.
We can still disagree. You can have your opinions and beliefs. I can have mine. We can still meet in the middle and find common ground and still be friends.
Right. Because opinions, my favorite saying of all time, and I don't, everybody's heard it. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Some stink more than others. So get the fuck over it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're right. Like your opinion on something may not be my opinion on something, and may not be Lita's opinion on anything. But you're right. Like just because we don't carry the same opinion doesn't mean we can't find a place where we can go, okay, I see it from your point of view. I put myself in your shoes, and then you put yourself in my shoes, and you'll see it from my point of view, how I could see it this way. And I think that's what's wrong. Like in our society now, just the society as a whole, not even of the veteran community as a whole. And I think it's probably that way in the veteran community too, but
it is.
Everyone wants to see things from this way or that way. Nobody ever wants to take the time to walk just a half a mile in someone else's shoes.
I also think it's more that people want to be right. They don't want to be proven wrong, but even more than that is they want to be right. They want their beliefs and opinions to be right. And I don't know, I said it, I don't know how many times, just because you feel this strongly about your opinions and beliefs and they're right to you, doesn't mean they're factual, doesn't mean they're accurate. They can be right to you. I can have different opinions and beliefs and they're right to me. I always go back to, why does Baskin Robbins have 36 flavors of ice cream? Why isn't that something we go to war over? They like Rocky Road and we like cookie dough. Arr, arr, like why aren't we, just because they cut their pizza in squares and, it has pineapples and on it,
Pineapple does not belong on pizza. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry.
We can't be friends now.
I don't like pineapple though, so period.
Well, I mean, it happens. We all make choices in life. Some of us don't have a sweet tooth, and it's okay.
I'll allow it though. I'll allow it because you make a good point though. Like, I lived in Hawaii, and everybody's like, "Brother, you don't like pineapple on your pizza?" And I'm like, "I don't like pineapple, but I don't care if you do." I mean, I'll eat the pizza. Just move the pineapple off, like you do for your kid. Like it is, yeah. Hey, it is what it is. The sweetness can still be there. I'm just not ingesting the pineapple. Like I think we can agree on that. But yeah, I mean, I think one of the for veterans specifically, I think part of the issue is, and it's across the board, but veterans specifically, I think when you get out and you start to struggle with that identity crisis because you don't have your friends, you don't have your people, you don't have that camaraderie, you could have went back to your hometown, but if you hadn't been back to your hometown in 15 years, it's like you're new there, you don't know anything, and you start to get into this mindset where, yeah, people are reaching out to help you, but you don't see it in that light, right? To touch on that, when I was active duty, the commonplace. I just had a pineapple and Canadian bacon pizza. Okay, no, but like when I was active duty up until I don't know, probably 6-7 months ago now, I drink half a bottle of liquor every day. Not saying that that's a good thing, so don't do that. 0 stars, do not recommend. But it literally took my wife giving me an ultimatum and an old tomato, in basically saying like you have to stop, like you can't keep doing this. And at first I was like, no, I know what I'm doing. Like, no, I'm fine. Like, you couldn't tell me I was wrong. But then I took a step back and was like, no, you're right for so many reasons. Like, I'm I'm the one that's wrong. Even though in my head I was like, no, I'm right. I wasn't. And I took a step back and was like, yeah. And so since then, I don't really drink hard liquor at all. I've had maybe two drinks, and then I'll have a beer every now and then. Like, but it's one of those things where because we had that conversation probably 100 times, but she like put her foot down. I'm like, okay, like maybe I need to compromise and take a step back and do the walk a mile in the other shoe, right? Because I started looking at it from her aspect, not from mine. Because, in my head, I'm fine. I'm not doing anything wrong. The second I started to walk down her shoes, I'm just a fucking dirtbag, right? Like, and I think a lot of us, and we've had a couple of people on here that they struggle with that. They don't know how to compromise or look and or wear another person's shoes and look at it the other side of the coin, right? Everybody always says there's 100 ways to skin a cat. Okay, well, if you take that logic that there's 100 ways to skin a cat, that means there's 100 reasons why you could be right or you could be wrong.
Getting out of the military, it is a huge loss of identity.
100%.
What a lot of people don't understand, there's a whole bunch of people that didn't have any other choice. That was their last option. That was their last hope. And then when you do join, you're surrounded by people who breathe the same, who stand the same, who make the same jokes, who eat the same. You would literally shed your last drop of sweat, blood, and tear for them and be perfectly happy to do so. You'd be proud to do so, in fact. I know so many people I'd be proud to stand till the very end in a trench with them until I was down to a broken knife. Like it. And then at the end of your term, your contract is up and you're given a 4-day class, a shake of the hand, a DD-214, and a have a nice day. And I didn't realize it at the time because I was celebrating getting out.
As so many do.
As so many do. So many do. How much I would miss it. How much I depended on those guys that were just there. You could rely on them. It didn't matter if it was a fucking Thursday in the middle of July. Man, I need some help. All right, on the way. I'll bring the barbecue. Not that kind of help. Okay, I'll bring the shovels and tarps.
but see, it was without question.
Right.
Without question.
like we sit here and we all just laughed about it. Okay, shovels and tarps, but like without question, no hesitation. What do you need and where do you need me?
Yeah, and you
Nowadays,
don't realize how rare that is.
you call somebody and say, "Hey, man, like I'm moving this refrigerator 6 feet and I need some help." Man, dude, I that's a long drive. I don't know if I can make it. Like, dude, we live 5 minutes from each other. What the fuck do you mean it's a long drive?
Yeah.
Like, it's that almost sense of dependability, and like, it's gone. And like you touched on it, and we've been talking about this for weeks, and I will continue to die on this hill. The getting out of the military system, TRS, whatever the fuck it's called now, is garbage.
It's horrible.
Because I got involuntarily separated. I did not want to get out, period. I didn't have a choice. The government said, you got to go. It's your turn. And so, but for me, I already had a job. I had a place to live, of somewhere to go. Now, I didn't have a car because I lived on the island 3,000 miles off the coast of California. And I didn't have any of my shit either, but I had something, right? So when I went through that class, they taught me how to create a resume, both a regular resume and a federal resume. Guess what? Did not pay attention. Why? Because I didn't have to. I had the job. They talk about health insurance and how TRICARE stays active for like 90 days or 6 months after you get out. Did not care. Had a job. Had full health insurance. They talked about was it U.S. Labor, some book that they had. Again, did not care because I had a job. But you know what they should have talked about? The struggles that people go through when you get out, the depression, the anxiety, the missing everything. You literally, I tell this story all the time. It's like you walk through the gate celebrating. Yeah, I got my DD-214. Fuck you. You're cool. Like, I'm out, right? But it's because nobody, and I don't even think if we sat here and had this conversation in front of, 1,000 service members, they'd probably look at us like three comedians with beards sitting here like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Right? Because I don't even know if somebody would have told me that this is what would have happened to me when I got out. And for me, because I had everything lined up, I didn't experience that for 6 years. It took 6 years for it to like punch me in the face and like beat me down. And then I'm like, oh fuck, like this is not cool. And I don't know if it's 6 months, it's a year, what, a year is probably a bit too ridiculous, but we have to do something to help people prepare themselves and what it's truly like to walk through that gate for the last time. And for a lot of people, they will never go back. I was glad when I got my 100%. I got to go get that fancy new cat card so I could go on base again. Like that thought, I was like, I'm wearing a beard. You can't tell me shit. I'm going to the PX, right? And I did. I went to Quantico. But it's taken me a long time to fully understand that, right? Like, I may not know you from Adam, but I can watch your content and be like, hey man, like talk to me. Like, let's have a conversation. And you and your experiences with me and my experience, we sit here, we could bullshit all day. Like we're, back on whatever base, but we're not, we're normal civilians now with just a baggage. Right. And I think that baggage needs to be opened and explained to service members when they get out to prepare themselves, to give them all them resources. Because I can tell you right now, I still have all the paperwork. As a matter of fact, I pulled it out the other day. There's not one single line, note, phone number, extension for anything talking about veteran suicide, talking about grief counselors, talking about who you can call if you're struggling. It's, hey, here's the number to the Department of Veteran Affairs. It's a 1-800 number. Here's the phone number to the Department of Labor if you're trying to have a job. Like nothing.
It took me a decade. It took me a decade. I had to go to a follow-up medical appointment, and I sat in a tiny little room with a nurse, and she went through that questionnaire. And about halfway through it, she stopped asking questions and she dialed her phone. And all of a sudden, the room was very occupied. And I'm a 6'4", 300-pound veteran, and I'm locked in a tiny room with a doctor, a security guard, a nurse, and a psychologist, and they're asking me very pointed questions. And here's the thing, man. It don't matter how much you tell somebody until they decide to fix themselves or until they decide they need help. Because, man, I'll tell you right now, when I was sitting in that TAPS class, I was making jokes the whole fucking time because I didn't care. I didn't give a shit. They were telling me how to write a resume, and I was like, man, this is stupid. I'm going to go back to college. I got a job lined up. I got all this shit. I will tell you right now, when I got out and everything fell through, I was really well educated on how to write a resume that nobody wanted to look at. I was really, 4-day class taught me real good how to write a resume that nobody wanted to. They would just whoop. I was either overqualified or underqualified, and I was either brain dead or I was top dog. And either way, they didn't want me. And there ain't no way that some broke dick veteran is going to come into a TAPS class or whatever they call it now and tell people you're going to want to sit there with a bottle in one hand and shotgun in the other and have really vivid thoughts.
Yeah.
And the VA is not just going to want to give you pills. You're going to have really vivid dreams and hallucinations, and you're going to have really deep fantasies about what would happen if.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, ain't nobody going to listen to us.
No.
Until they see it for themselves and until they're affected by it. And like you, it took me 10 years. 10 years to sit in a room with a nurse and be told that it's not okay to have those kinds of thoughts. And I'm like, everybody doesn't have the, like, am I the one that's bad? Oh, I'm the problem. Oh, I'm the drama. Okay,
it's cool. Me. I'm the problem.
I'm the problem. It's me. Thank you. So
it's funny because I got out. I went to work at a coal mine when I got out in 2012. So here I am in a 2,000-foot under the ground mine shaft, mining coal, and freaking working 14, 16 hours a day. And I look over at my coworker who's probably been doing this since he was fucking 18 years old. And here I am, fucking 23, 24-year-old vet. And I was like, you know what? I wouldn't even care if this motherfucker crashed down on top of us. Like that's what's going through my head, right? I'm out. I was happy as fuck when I got out because I was like, they wanted me to stay in. Fuck you, motherfuckers. I'm getting out of this bitch, right? I made it through. You can't get me. And now I'm sitting in a fucking mine shaft. And I'm going, yeah, it'd be okay if this thing fucking crumbled down on top of me. Mm-hmm. And then it was 6 years later before, I'm sitting in my apartment and I've got a gun. And I'm ready to just say fucking bye. And if it wasn't for the fact that my fucking kid called me at the right fucking time, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys. There's not a single vet that can tell me that they didn't struggle with something when they got out. Because we do. The second we don't realize the second that we walk off that base or that post, or we got our DD-214 in our hand, or those who are in the National Guard got their NGB-22, and you never have to put that uniform on again. You quickly realize, because hey, it's the weekend, you got to move to wherever you're moving to, and you call up people who you thought were your friends, and then they go, hey man, you know that brick wall you're asking me to run through right now? I can't do it. I can't run through that fucking brick wall for you. So it took me a long time. Like I joined my motorcycle club in February of last year. Maybe January of last year. Early February, late January. That is the first time since I got out in 2012 that I found a group of people who would run through a fucking brick wall if I asked them to. And it's crazy because when we were in, you could turn to that motherfucker who you were sharing a fucking room with and be like, "Hey, dude, guess what? I'm gonna call you in 30 minutes from old girl's house, and I need you to yell at me like you're the fucking first sergeant and tell me to get my ass back on fucking base." All right. So, like, we don't have those people anymore. Those people are gone. The second you grab that form that says you don't belong to the U.S. government, that shit's gone, man.
Yeah, I had an old timer tell me one time. He's like, he's the easiest way I can describe this to you. He's like, you know what Stockholm syndrome is? And I said, yeah. He goes, strip away some of the restrictiveness of it, and he's like, that's a U.S. vet. That's a military vet. He's like, yeah, you're free to do whatever the hell you want. He said, but you miss it, don't you? I mean, yeah, it's a stretch, but he goes, you miss it, don't you? He's like, you wish you were back, waking up at the butt crack of dawn PTing for no reason at all, because guess what? You sit behind a desk, you don't actually do anything. To go to a job that is not important, but you would do it in a heartbeat to get back everything that you have. And I thought about it. Yeah, the whole mindset behind it's probably not factual, but I probably would go back to have all of that, to have that brotherhood, to have that camaraderie that, hey man, I need something. You can't ask me about it. We'll never talk about it, but like, it's nice. It's almost like a security blanket in a sense, but like you feel, and I guess when you really start to think about it, that's what the military is. It is a giant security blanket for itself, right? You have your buddies, because when we do deploy, we have one mission. How we get from point A to point B and get the mission completed, nobody cares as long as it's done.
I mean, think about it right now. What's going on in the world right now, right? I guarantee you ask 1,000 vets, would they fucking sign up right now with what's going on in the world right now? I almost guarantee you that 999 of those motherfuckers would say in a heartbeat.
Probably.
As long as I don't have to give up my VA.
Hey, Tiny, am I crazy going back in? No, you're not crazy.
No, absolutely not.
I know 3 different people that got out and they went right back. I know literally a guy who got out and 2 weeks later he was in a recruiter's office. You're not crazy going back in. You're not crazy going back in, regardless of how you want to call it, whether it's indoctrination, whether it's Stockholm syndrome or brain fucking washing, whatever. It is a crazy peace of mind to know you're going to get paid the exact same thing on the 1st and the 15th. You know what uniform to wear. You know where you're sleeping. You know what you're eating. You know where you're going to work. You know what the expectation is of you. Because when you get out, that's a huge part of your identity that gets ripped away. And all of a sudden, everyone thinks that, oh, when I get out of the military, I'm going to be able to sleep in how I want. I'm going to drink what I want. I'm going to grow out a big-ass fucking beard. I'm going to wear whatever I want. I'm going to be a bum. And you realize, like 2-3 months in, man, this kind of sucks. Because nothing is for sure. I don't know what I'm going to get paid. I don't know how much insurance costs. Fuck, that Dodge Charger I bought in the military with a 34% fucking interest rate. I don't know how I'm going to make that payment. It's a weird sense of security, having everything taken care of. And you don't got to think. You just got to show up and do your job. Because for a lot of people in the civilian world, that's not how it is. Like, they don't have the same expectations. And that's a big part of why when you get out, you don't belong, because you don't stand the same. You don't look the same. You don't talk the same. You don't even eat or joke the same. We say shit that is so fucking unhinged and off the wall. We get sent to HR on a daily basis, and we show up to HR and go, fuck, what did I do this time? And they're like, sir, you can't use that language. Fuck, why not? God damn it. Shit. Sorry. but can I smoke?
But
Right.
you're not wrong at all.
No,
It's a
No, you're
weird
not.
part of getting out that people don't really understand until you're in it. And just like I tell people on a regular basis, the biggest thing that I tell people, find a group, find someone, whether it is someone at work, whether it is a biker club, whether it is the VFW or the local, what are called, American Legion, whoever. Find someone. I know a guy who plays golf, and he's got a group of 3 guys, and he's like every other Thursday, no matter what, we find time to at least play 9, just 9 holes. Even if sometimes we do a full 18, sometimes you change the day, sometimes weather, whatever. And it's structure. Find something that you can structure your life around and be like, no matter what, next fucking Thursday, I'm playing 9 holes of golf. No matter what, next Tuesday, I'm going to the VA to read books to guys that can't fucking move. Whatever. And here's the other thing. The resources are out there. The opportunities are out there. You can find them. I literally did this on stream the other day. You can pull up every single nonprofit in your state, in your county, and you can figure out what you want to get involved in and start making calls. Be like, hey, I want to volunteer for a local homeless shelter or a humane society, and I want to go pet dogs and walk them. The opportunities are there. Find something to structure your life around, because when you get out, you lose a lot of structure and you lose that identity. Find something to do with yourself that keeps that structure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, for me, it took working myself damn near to death, right? Because that, to me, is a routine. It's the structure. I get up at the same time. I go to work the same way. I'm a creature of habit. I will take the long way every time. Why? Because that's just my habit. I do the same thing every day religiously, but I have formed a structure for myself. And then, of course, spoken like a true Marine and veteran, I decided that wasn't chaotic enough, that I needed to start my own company, start a podcast once a week. Yeah, so
your dance card is full, is what you're saying.
I don't have a dance card. I have a.
Oh, no, you have a dance card.
How many frying pans can I put in this fire?
Exactly.
I'll just make a bigger fire. That's essentially what I'm doing.
Literally the most Marine answer. I'm gonna make a bigger fire.
I'm just
but it's true. So for me, I have my civilian job because I'm bound and determined to work my civilian job for another 5 years. Why, I don't know. I have my nonprofit. I got my motorcycle club, which I'm also an officer in. And then I have the podcast, and I'm working on not 1, but 2 huge events for 2026. And I'm having to call booking agents for a concert that I'm helping put on with another nonprofit organization. So it's like a never ending circle of something to do, which keeps me busy. And on top of all of that, I have to find time to spend time with my family, my wife, my kids. If I don't cook dinner at least twice a week, my wife tells me I'm a fucking lazy asshole. So, I mean, it's you're right though. You've got so much going on, so much to do, and you've got to find ways to prioritize it and make it work. But finding something to do is half the battle. Keeps your mind busy, keeps your mind off of all the dark thoughts, the shit that keeps you up at night. So trust me, I 100% get it. And for men, I think it's even harder, because as a man, and this kind of segues into our whole men's mental health part of this, is for men, we were programmed from a very young age that you're the breadwinner, you're the backbone of the family, you're the emotionless, non-feeling, can't show any emotion person. And that's not true. At least not in today's society. It might have been true in the 20s You know, for the greatest generation, it might have been true for them, but for us now, mental health is a huge thing because we ignored it for so long. Men have to be able to feel. And I think men have to be able to show emotion, especially to their family. I'm not saying go cry on a fucking park bench somewhere and let the whole fucking world see you do it. But tell your family what's going on. Be open enough to cry in front of them. Be open enough to talk to them about what's going on. Because if you hide it from them, how are they supposed to know how to help you?
You ain't wrong. And I think it goes a little bit deeper too. Instead of just showing emotion, we've lost the ability to talk about it, to communicate about what's going on in our head and what's on our hearts. Talk about the insecurities we feel on a daily basis as men, as husbands, as fathers, as sons, brothers, and uncles, as friends. I literally have had people come to me and be like, I am a shitty human being. I'm like, okay, why? I'm like, well, my friend called me and he needed help moving a washer and dryer, and I had the flu, and it was coming out of both ends, and I couldn't go help him. I'm like, okay, you like, okay, being human, you're allowed to be human. You're allowed to have off days. That doesn't make you a shitty human. Well, I didn't help him when he needed it, and he had no one else. Like, and I get that. I completely get that. Sometimes you need to be able to talk to someone and be like, hey, I am so fucking sorry. I can't help. And I'm not saying that you need to lay everything out for him and tell him what's going on and, you know, your deepest, darkest fantasies, but being able to talk about what's in your head and on your heart, your insecurities, and how you feel about something. You need to be able to talk to those around you. And I don't know how many people come to me and they're like, oh, it's my family. I can't talk to my family. Okay. Do you have someone you talk to outside of that? Do you have any friends? Well, no. Okay. So who do you talk to? Well, I don't have anyone. Okay. You need to find someone. That's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things where, as a society, as a species, as a fucking gender, dudes, we take care of each other pretty well when we actually start reaching out for help. The problem is we actually need to start reaching out for fucking help.
Absolutely.
Bunch of assholes. Like, if you're going through something, if you're dealing with something, you don't get to just be the strong, silent type anymore. Like, you need to talk. You need to be able to embrace that weakness. And as much as it sucks, you get to sit there and go, I'm fucked up and I need help. Consider this your first Assholes Anonymous meeting. And be able to sit there and open up, truly open up. And instead of just, oh, how you doing today? Oh, you know, wouldn't matter if I complained. Nobody there listening anyway. No. Be honest. And no, not the random person at the bus stop. Hey, oh, how's it going? Well, I'm feeling like suck starting a shotgun today. How are you? Maybe not. Let's tone it down a little bit. Let's bring it down a couple levels.
Know your audience. Know your audience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Time and place, and yeah, no, you know, read the room. Just read the room a little bit. But as men, I think something that sticks with me for a long time was growing up as a father, as a husband, as a head of a household, even just as the leader of a friend group or a part of a friend group. You lead by example. And part of that is being able to accept your limitations and know when you're fucking up and be able to share with the group, whether that's your church buddies, whether that's your family, whether that's your friends, be able to let them know what's going on. Because as soon as you start opening up, I guarantee it, other people will open up as well. And you'll be able to talk about it. And the next step, here's the really important thing about all of this. Here's the really, because the first step's huge. The first step is huge. The first step is admitting you actually have a problem and you need to fucking talk about it. Second step, you don't get to just sit there and wallow in it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to sit there and be like, I'm fucked up. Okay. What are you doing about it? Like, Where are you going with it? How are you moving forward? How are you trying to better yourself? How are you trying to make a better place for yourself? If you just sit there with your big old pile of shit and you go, this is my pile of shit and nobody else can have it, no one else gets to touch it, it's mine. Okay,
It's not a rifle.
well, there are many like it, but this one is mine. This is my pile of shit. But the problem is, so many people are happy with their pile of shit. They don't want to get rid of it. It's baggage that they get to carry from place to place. You don't get to be told when you're supposed to lay it down. I'm not sitting here saying that you need to go to therapy and you need to fix it and it's going to be all better on Tuesday. No, it's probably not. But you also need to understand that you can't carry that around forever. You need to start making progress, and it's not going to be immediate. It's not going to be next week. It's not going to be next month. But little baby steps forward will make all the difference in the world. But you can't just sit there and trauma dump to every single person that wants to talk to you. You can't, because you're just going to start pushing your friends away. Yes, you need to talk about. Yes, you need to communicate. Yes, you need to talk about expectations and boundaries with friends and family. But you also need to start working on it. That's the biggest part that I see on TikTok, and it drives me insane. I'm just going to sit here and trauma dump on a live about, the Cub Scout leader teaching me or touching me fucking 40 years ago. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's a horrible thing, and it never should have happened. But what year is it? Like, come on, let's make some forward progress, people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me it was finding that group or that inner circle of people. And really and truthfully, like, so my wife and I have only been together going on 5 years. So it hasn't really been that long. But from the get, I told her the truth about everything. Hey, look, I'm fucked up, man. So
that's a great first date. How's it going? Right. What's your name? I'm fucked up, by the way.
But she knows everything. She knows everything that I went through in the military. She knows that, at one time I wanted to start a fucking 45. So, but it goes to the part of my relationship with her that I told her these things, but prefaced it with the whole, I'm going to tell you something, but I need to trust that you're never going to weaponize this against me. And if you can promise me you'll never weaponize this against me, you'll never use what I'm about to tell you to make me seem like a bad person, we're going to be perfect. Because every woman before you has done that. Every woman before you has used every experience that I went through as a weapon in our relationship. If you cannot weaponize this against me, you will be the love of my life. And I think being truthful with her, instead of like holding it back for a couple of years and then going, hey, oh, by the way, if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm a fucking asshole.
Now that we're comfortable in this relationship, check out this baggage.
Right. But I checked my baggage at the door. Like I did. I said, hey, look, this is it. This is what I'm carrying. And you can either take me for who I am. We can fucking have a great fucking relationship, which we have. Truly my best friend. I can tell her anything. I think that's important for men to have that person who is truly your other person. But we don't argue. And that's the beauty of this, is because she knows that verbal confrontation is the biggest fucking way to set me off. Like, she gets me back in other ways where, like, she'll be like, I'll be laying in bed and she'll be like, didn't clean the kitchen, did you? Fuck. Right? So, like, we have our moments, but we've never fought because she never weaponizes anything against me. And for men, that's a huge thing. Because I can bet everybody on this panel right here has had something used against them in the past. Oh, hey, well, you remember that you went off to fucking war at fucking 18 years old and you saw a bunch of shit and now you're a fucked up asshole because you don't know how to deal with your shit? Like, I guarantee something like that has been thrown in somebody's face. And even the people who are listening right now to the podcast, I guarantee somebody has thrown that shit in your face.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So having those people who won't use that and won't weaponize that against you, and having a partner in your life, whether it's a man, woman, whatever, not weaponize shit against you, then fucking do it, man. Fucking take that leap. Be honest.
That's something I get told on a regular basis when I'm talking about relationships, men, women, everything. Every guy is like, I can't talk about that with my old lady. I will never talk about that with my old lady. She will never get that part of me because the person before her that I trusted the most with everything I had betrayed it. And she talked about it with her friends. She told her best friend. She used it against me in court, trying to get me seen as unfit for my kids. She, in a fight, brought it up and used it as a point that you're just being like this. And now so many guys use it to justify their bad behavior. And, you know, I try to explain it to a lot of guys because I talk about that all men until no men bullshit. Man, it goes the same thing for dudes. It's not all women. You don't get to blame bad behavior of past relationships on your current relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to say, just because I was treated badly in the past by her, that you're going to be the same way. That's not okay. And the problem is you do have to trust that person with a lot. You have to give that person the knife, turn around and trust them not to stab you with it. And the problem is humans suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
People-
gosh, is that true?
People are hard, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's business relationships. People are hard to deal with. And it's a truly hard thing to do because you have to trust everyone on a certain level. But especially when it comes to those most close to you that have that information that you do need to have that deep, intimate trust for. And you can't treat everyone the same as that one person that hurt you.
Yeah.
Facts.
True. I can't help but think, since we've been sitting here, by the way, I figure I'd make this the funny part of this is the whole time I'm looking over at Synicl, all I can think about is the song "You and Me, Baby, Ain't Nothing But Mammals, So Let's Do It Like They Do on the Discovery Channel." That video, by the way, was the best video. That is why I included it.
No idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. That just doesn't ring a bell.
That's weird.
Motherfucker.
That is weird that
Weird.
you don't recall that.
I have sudden amnesia. I can't.
One too many dicks to the head, or blows to the head. Or
Well, that is a great segue into something that you've kind of touched on. We've kind of touched on. We've touched all around it.
We've touched everything tonight.
Yeah. The Dial-A-Vet or Funny Navy story time. So you do them and oh no.
I don't know. I don't know who that is. I have no idea who that is. That doesn't look anything like me. I mean, they definitely don't have a rubber chicken. It's
that's some seriously great AI right there, man.
Yeah,
Where'd you
great.
find that?
Hey,
it's great.
that
AI.
was great, dude.
Spoofed.
I just told ChatGPT what I needed, and they did it.
They must have stalked his profile, all his social media, and said, "I think I've got the perfect video for you."
Lita said, "Stop."
Isn't it past your bedtime? Like
it's way past her bedtime.
It's definitely past 11 o'clock. It's past my bedtime, but that's irrelevant. So Dial-A-Vet and Funny Navy story time. So I'm assuming some of these stories are from your own personal
Oh yeah. So I made the promise a long time ago when I first started on TikTok that I was going to be honest, open, and every single one of my funniest Navy story times are based in truth. It's one of those the sea stories, where the fish
Yeah.
was this big and every girl there was Victoria's Secret models with tits out to here. They get a little embellished, but the actual stories are all true. Dial a Vet, however, was the spinoff of the Field Day Services, where I had the thought, white glove inspections and a whole bunch of veterans coming in and made outfits. I was like, what if, how do we schedule this out? Because it started, and now there's actually a Field Day Services, I think in New Jersey, that there's a business that's using my business model, that it's a bunch of female veterans that go and clean houses to white glove inspections. Really cool.
You're shitting me.
Nope, dead serious. And every now and again I get updates from her. She's a super cool lady. But
That's awesome.
I was of the mind, I was like, how are we going to schedule out these appointments? What if it's just a side gig for people? Oh, we'll have an app where it's like, okay, I can clean a house on Thursday and Friday afternoons. Those are free. And then you schedule, okay, I'm a cleaner. I have this equipment and this is what I can do. And then it was, okay, what if there was a button that was literally just dial a vet? I need help changing a tire. I need someone to explain APR interest to me. I need someone, I'm at a mechanic shop and I think they're taking me for a ride. Dial a vet.
My husband's a streamer, and I accidentally deleted all of his gamer stuff.
Yeah, I wiped his hard drives. I need help. Dial a vet. And it's like, okay, let's get the Air Force on the line. Everything's recoverable. Everything's recoverable. We can do this. But that's kind of where it spun out. And with Dial a Vet, it became the skit. It became obviously not based in reality, because there's certain skits I do where it's talking about kicking in doors and, taking care of business. And it's like, obviously, legally we can't do that. At the same time, I know a bunch of veterans. I know a bunch of guys that if I was to say there's a house and I know where it is and their kid's being hurt, we would handle it, and it would be very loud and violent, and it would get taken care of. So with Dial a Vet, that obviously became tied more to fiction, to where it was, let's talk about the funny side, the bright side, even the darker stuff. Let's turn it to light, and let's bring in some levity to these situations, these dark topics, everything, whether it's, hey, there's a World War II veteran that wants to go fishing. Okay, let's get him fucking set up. Let's go. Let's do it. Say when. I got my rods, I got all the bait, I got the gear. Let's fucking go. I had one where it was like, okay, this guy, he doesn't have legs or arms, but he wants to do this video with his old lady that they want to do the shape of love, like jumping in the water, but he's only got a leg and an arm. And he's like, can you just toss me?
Oh, we lost him.
Did lose him. That's a shame. Because
That's
I had this queued up.
Was it a noise complaint? Yes, sir. And they requested us specifically.
I mean, that's what she said.
I guess we missed it.
Is that a baton in your pocket, or you just happy to see me? She puts the shirt.
So I have to ask, because you must have just seen the episode and you were like, I've got to do that skit.
Oh no, I'd been watching The Rookie for a long time, and I had seen that bit, that little blurb, that audio file, and I was like, that's fucking amazing. I want to do this. And it was funny, not so funny, me story time. That was literally the last video I recorded in the house with my ex-wife before I left. I stood on top of her breakfast bar and in a teddy bear or a Wookiee onesie with a broom, pretending to play the guitar, dancing back and forth. And yeah, it was very funny. I love that show, and I love Nathan Fillion. I love everything he does. But yeah, that was that audio clip. It just worked.
Honestly, it was the facial expressions for me. So you're like, it zooms in on him as he's singing, you know, cop cuties, cute, and you do the whole wink. You're like, everything was perfect. Like it was just fucking perfect. And I was like, first thing I did is I pick up the phone. I call Lita. I was like, I fucking love your boyfriend. Like seriously.
It was definitely one of those where it didn't go anywhere, it didn't take off, but it was really fun to record and it was really fun to do. Like no matter what, that was a really fun video to do.
It's funny because
Absolutely.
I seen that video the day, or not like the day, but like this was not that long ago. I seen that video, and then immediately following your video, I seen the clip from the show, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!"
It worked out really well. It worked out really well. And then it was just one of those times because, you know, being a master at arms, I had a couple of those situations where it was like, I have a trainee with me. I'm not allowed to punch this guy in the throat. I'm not allowed to punch this guy in the throat. I have to, can you just turn around? Can you just turn around for like 5 seconds? Just say a really long prayer and I'll handle this. Like it was definitely one of those. It lined up really well. I like it a lot.
So where would you say that you get like your inspiration for some of these videos? Because all right, you had butterfly barrettes in your beard.
That's actually
Not just one, but like I had to have been at
Several.
least 45 plus.
That's what happens on my streams when my community shows up and shows out. And for every donation or everything that happens, I put a butterfly barrette in my beard, and then I put stickers on my face, and then I get in my squirrel onesie. And on Fridays, I wear my maid outfit because it's French maid. You know what? I'm not talking about this. We're not gonna.
French Maid Friday.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. Where am I? What show am I on? I don't. Yeah, but that's what happens. And then I had the agreement. Okay, if we hit this level, I will lip sync Discovery Channel by Bloodhound Gang, and then
That's amazing.
post it on TikTok. And yeah,
It did
Those
pretty
streams-
well.
So if you always had, but you've always had this sense of humor, like you've always had this ability to just kind, because your videos brighten up the mood, no matter. Because I was actually in a really shitty mood when I came across your rookie skit, and I was like, dude, fuck it. That my whole day might have been shitty leading up to this fucking video, but now. I played that video like 5 times because it was just fucking spot on.
I think I've always kind of had the same sense of humor, but it's definitely got a lot darker when I was in the military, and then it got even darker when I got out of the military. Okay, fuck it. We're just gonna share a quick copper mine story time. Sitting around the lunchroom. And this guy's talking about an incident that happened in the small town that the copper mine was in. Turns out one of the supervisors, his old lady, found out he'd been stepping out on her. And she decided to go to the local gas station and douse herself. And yeah, she
Oh wow.
she
Human Torch.
she booted herself. And everyone's just aghast because this is an old story. It happened years and years ago. And I'm sitting there and I'm eating lunch and we're all just covered in grease and sweat and dirty. And it's just been a rough day. And I sit there with my sandwich and I'm giggling. And everyone just kind of turns and I'm sitting there giggling. And I look at the dude and I was like, so basically she just ran out of gas, huh? And, the room went silent. Like it was very quiet. And what I didn't know was that a supervisor had walked in behind me and he's standing in the doorway, who also happened to be the guy who had been. And he goes, man, that's fucking funny. And he turns around, and as soon as he walks out, everyone's dying laughing, and I'm just sitting there with my sandwich, like, what?
Wow.
So
Synicl has always been cynical.
yeah. And if you don't know the definition, definitely look it up. I am of the expectation that everyone is going to be the most self-serving, and I hate getting proven right, but at the same time, I always have hope for everyone. And in my heart of hearts, I have to believe that everyone at their core is good. But there's a reason my username is Synicl.
Well, I'm
I
here
like it.
for it.
I am definitely here for it. Absolutely. Do Stalls and Josh know about Operation Pudding?
Yes, they do, Lexi. I appreciate you. Thank you.
We
so
have
much.
heard the story about Operation Pudding. So, did people send you actual pudding though?
Do you want me to go get the boxes of pudding?
How
Holy
many
shit.
boxes are we talking about?
Could
There's
you
one-
could you fund your own pudding store at this point?
I would say I could probably make close to 10 to 15 pudding pies. It's
That's
I
a lot.
have-
So a small commissary is what you're saying.
I think I have 2 flats, and then there's some other like healthy pudding. It's not all like, the most horrible. It's actually some healthy pudding, like rice something or other.
Holy
It's a
shit.
lot.
I hope this comment is so fucking true. I'm not even gonna lie.
Shut the
hope
fuck
this-
up, Kendall. I swear on all that is holy. So okay, that's one of my boys from back in the day. He knew me from 2009. I want to say he's not military, but he's been in and around the military long enough. He's got that mentality. Ass slap. Why do we don't have to, we're not going to that. Yeah. This is my community. These are my people.
These are the people.
The people of the flotilla. And that's another thing that I established was my Discord and the group of people that I have. I call it the flotilla because nobody's in charge of it. We all just sail together.
I like it.
I like it. Legit.
I will say if I need a good pick me up, I know where I'm going for a video. So I've yet to make it through all of your content. I have scrolled. It took me a minute, but I have scrolled to get to some of your older content, and I will say there are some gems in some of your older content.
Don't scroll too far because you'll. So okay, yeah. We're fine. Yeah, don't scroll too far. We'll just leave it at that.
And now I doom scroll.
And now I'm going to TikTok.
So
Everything the light touches is ours.
I don't do thirst traps.
Oh, but you did, didn't you?
I've done a couple because I promised my community that I would, and then I got called on it, and then it was like, well, shit. And then now they're like calling for, are you going to have a pudding wrestling match with Lita? I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to be on any platform that you guys are going to see.
At least not a platform that you're not going to at least pay for.
First of all, that's not going to get recorded. And second of all, you guys wouldn't want to see that recording anyway. And third of all, that wouldn't be able to be recorded because shut up, Control.
This may have been worth staying up late for.
Oh yes, absolutely. I knew this was going to be the best podcast of the month.
I think one of my favorite things, I will say this, one of my favorite things about my Funny Navy story times and my dial events, every time I tell a Funny Navy story time, it's always like a Pringles can. Because I say at the end of my videos, stitch or comment below, let me know what stories like this do you have. Because as soon as you say a story, everyone says, back in whatever, my boot camp days or back in whenever, everyone has a similar story. And it's like a Pringles can. Once you pop, you just can't stop. Like whether it's nicknames or the fucking messing with people when they're on duty or whatever. It's just those stories never stop. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
That is
everybody
true.
Everybody loves the messing with the new guy, the fucking FNG stories. The FNG stories are the best.
Yeah.
Or
Until they bite you in the ass. So I'll give you a funny army story time.
Fast. Cool.
Yes. Ooh, I like that, fast. So, and I've told this story a couple of times on live, but I was a buck sergeant, and we got a new private in, and I told this private, I was like, hey, I need you to go down to supply, and I need you to get me a box of grid squares so that we can get ready to map out our operation. All right, this kid was gone for almost 6 hours. He found an AO map, a map of our entire AO, and cut out each grid square one by one and put it in a fucking shoebox and brought it to me. I had never been out privated so much until then.
Yeah, that's the bad part is when it bites in the ass, because there has been a number of times. I don't think it ever happened to me, but I've definitely pulled it on people where they thought I was the dumbass new guy. And fuck it, I don't give a shit. You're gonna send me on a wild goose chase. I'm gonna go on that wild goose chase. I'm gonna see where this fucking tunnel goes, and disappear for 8 hours, and then you have to explain when I show back up with garbage bags full of air that we gotta submit these to the EPA, and where's the forms? I thought there were forms for these. Why can't we? And you're doing it in front of senior chief, and he's having the guy that sent you on the wild goose chase now has to explain it in front of fucking. Yeah, that's a good time. It's a good time.
I obviously have a bunch of funny Marine story times, but honestly, I think one of the funniest things that ever happened to me in the military, I was deployed on the MEU. We were on the USS Baton, aka the Dirty Nickel, and we had just left Dubai. Yeah, just left Dubai. We were headed back through the Strait. And so when we were in Dubai, they had the flight deck redone. Or they did something on the flight deck. I don't remember what it was. Well, anyways, most helicopters' intakes are super low to the ground, so when they take off, they suck a lot of air up off the ground. Well, apparently there was billions, trillions of these little fucking BBs on the flight deck everywhere. They lost a shit ton of aircraft. The only aircraft that they had at the moment that could take off was the Osprey, because its intake was so high off the ground. So, what do you do when you have a couple thousand Marines on a boat that ain't got nothing better to do? You put them in green on green and say, go to the flight deck, let's do a FOD walk down. Okay, well, beautiful, beautiful day in the middle of the ocean, music blaring. So here comes the captain of the boat in, his little navy skivvy shorts and shirt and big ass fucking aviators on, right? Well, Top Gun comes on.
Oh no.
They started playing Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins as this dude is walking down the flight deck. Because if you've ever been on a boat that's got a flight deck on it, from the middle of the boat, you could go either way. And here he's just walking down, and this song is playing, and everybody's literally on the ground, rolling around, dying, laughing. It was probably the funniest thing that I've ever seen. He gets all the way down to the end that we're all at, stops, and he goes, "Huh. I wonder who did this. Must have been the Master Chief." He walks away, and here comes this Lance Corporal running this way. This little E3 Marine had gone in there and changed the song the second he walked down the P-way. So
it's always the E4 below. It's always the E4 below.
E4 Mafia, man. The Lance Corporal Underground is dangerous.
It's dangerous.
Yes, the sham shield really is a sham shield. I can speak from experience.
Of course you can.
But I mean, hey, I was a medic, man. Nobody details a medic. Okay, you don't detail the medic. The medic never gets detailed for shit. But it would always be the medics who were doing stupid shit and all the shenanigans, because the acronym STEAL, which I to this day still use, it's a strategic transfer of equipment to an alternate location. All right, if anybody needs to know what the acronym STEAL stands for. Was very good at stealing stuff. while on deployment.
I would just say appropriate or requisition. We don't steal things.
A strategic transfer of equipment.
I just know whenever the Marines show up, you lock everything down because.
Hey, now,
Yes.
because I was a Marine, we have to take our fucking SIF gear everywhere. I was an intelligence Marine, right? I did intel. I had
Isn't
a fucking
that an oxymoron?
It's kind of an
yes,
oxymoron.
yeah. Well, we all can't be gunslingers, unfortunately. I did well enough on the ASVAP where my recruiter was like, "Why don't you do some cool shit?"
He gave you a
Sure.
sharp crayon.
The
Tink, tink,
sharpest,
tink, tink.
the sharpest, right?
Pencil.
I had so because we take our fucking SIF gear everywhere, I had my SAPI plates. Well, the 22nd MU is based out of Campbell June, North Carolina, so it doesn't matter unless you're permanent boat personnel. It doesn't matter. The sailors that are attached to the Marine units, most of them are corpsmen, but they all come back to Campbell June. Some sailor lost his SAPI plates. He was a corpsman attached to 2-2, I think was the unit that deployed with us, and tried to turn my SAPI plates into SIF. Yeah, because he lost his. It's great.
Wow.
So I have a request, and by me, I mean you and your people have a request.
Uh-oh.
They want to hear, and we'll close this out with this story. They want to hear the PT belt story.
Okay. Funny Navy story time. If you've never been a part of a safety brief, it's a rough thing to go through. It's a completely different thing when you're the subject of the safety brief. I was a Master at Arms, as everyone knows, because Master at Arms is just a fancy way of saying military police. They've got to be fancy. And as such, we were trained on Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio. Air Force, for some reason, still hasn't figured out that you don't need fucking PT belts, just get reflective gear. Navy has reflective gear on our PT gear. However, because we were on Air Force Base, we had to abide by the Air Force policy. We had PT belts. Nowhere in the regulation does it state for Navy uniform how you're supposed to wear a PT belt. So I may or may not have taken some creative license every morning running in an Air Force base with, a couple hundred Navy people, because I was a road guard. I was a tall motherfucker. I had to run out in front. At first I wore it like a ammo bayonet across my chest, and I got away with that, and nobody really said anything. And then I decided to wear it as a headband, and I was, "Hey, Adrian, I'm gonna block traffic so you guys can run." And it made a game of it. I would tie it around my thigh like it was a tourniquet, and I would limp. But then the other road guards started catching on, and they were doing their own thing. So one morning, I decided to take it one step further, and I tucked it down the front of my PT shorts, so it was hanging out the front and down my leg, and then if you shine the light on it, it gets real bright, and I'm standing there at a road, stopping traffic like I'm doing, and the car honks at me, and I'm like, whatever, we're running, can't you see the detail? And I'm like, whatever, and I go to turn, and he honks, and I see this little hand come out the window, and this little hand does this. I'm like, what the fuck? It was actually the CEO of the. Good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning? He's like, "Is that the proper way to wear your PT belt?" Actually, sir, nowhere in the Navy regulation does it state how we're supposed to wear PT belts, because we don't actually wear. You ever tried to argue semantics with a superior officer? It just doesn't go. It doesn't go over well at all. And within a few days, a base-wide memo got sent out that all personnel would wear the PT belt in an appropriate, approved Air Force manner. So it wasn't exactly a safety brief, but everyone knew who they were talking about.
You were that guy for one time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that was one of the times I was that guy.
Everybody's been that guy. All
Everybody's
right.
been that guy.
I think it
Everybody's
was
been
worth
that
it
guy.
though.
It was really, I thought it was fucking hilarious. He didn't think it was funny at all, especially because he had his old lady in the car with him. But anyways,
That
Man.
is amazing.
Wow.
I had a formation get pulled over by MPs on an army base while we were running one time.
for
Oh.
what?
So I went to MOS school on Fort Belvoir in Virginia. My MOS school is no longer there, but when I was in, that's where it was. And so we were running, you know, because Marines do it like the ass crack of dawn for no damn reason at all. And one of my instructors, great guy, by the way, road guard, stops traffic. Well, that particular vehicle happened to be an MP. And he did not like the fact that he stopped him, wanted to keep going. And he's like, I've got a fucking platoon full of Marines back there, like running, like right behind me. So they got in a verbal altercation. So the MP pulls out, and we're just down. Yeah, we're coming up on the class 6, is what the Army calls it, or the MCX little gas station. And he turns on his fucking lights behind the formation and gets on the loudspeaker and says, "Pull over." We're running in the middle of the road. So we, you know, right face, go into the gas station. We're all standing there. And yeah, he's like, we're running. I'm a road guard, stopping traffic. You're just a jackass trying to, you know, it didn't go very well. But needless to say, it's a great story to tell.
That's just tiny PP syndrome right there.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. We
I was not one of those guys.
our unit became so we're at Fort Hood, we're getting ready to deploy. We're deploying with an active duty unit. And mind you, I was National Guard, but it was like your special branch of the National Guard. I was in a LURS unit, which is a long range surveillance unit. So all of our in like higher level NCOs, E6 and above, and all of our officers are all Ranger qualified, like airborne, Ranger qualified. All of us are airborne. So we get told like the night before at like 9 p.m., oh, there's a battalion run at 0400. The entire battalion's running. And we're like, fuck, that's our day off. We don't fucking go on a battalion run. So our commander at 0330, as we're getting ready to go for this battalion run, says, when the battalion XO calls the entire battalion to attention, we're going to yell zonk. And zonk is basically your way of saying, later bitches, we're out. However, our entire company was in the very middle of this long battalion right in front of the battalion commander. And we all showed up in our Ranger panties,
Oh, Lord.
our fucking combat boots, our fucking jump boots,
Yeah.
and our fucking red berets. All right. Not an approved Army PT uniform. So we're already getting looks. And the battalion XO and everybody gets called to attention, and our commander, as loud as possible, yells zonk, and we all just like roaches when you turn the fucking light on, we just go phew, and we're gone. And so nobody knew what to do. So, dude, we're running for our life, right? We're like, I have a plan. I've got the fucking van keys. We're getting in a van. We're fucking leaving post. Like, fuck, we're gone. So we get off post, and we are gone for a couple hours. We get back on post. We go back to our barracks. It's like our day off. Fuck it. We're going to go get in the racks and fall back asleep. Well, about halfway through the day, our fucking commander comes through. He goes, hey, just want to let you know that not only did they run the battalion run, but they also scheduled another battalion run for tomorrow. And this one, we have been told that zonking is not allowed. So we were not only the reason that you could no longer zonk a battalion run, but we're also the reason why the entire battalion did a battalion run 2 days in a row.
Yeah, that's a great way to make friends. It's a great way to make friends right there.
Yeah, needless to say, everybody in the battalion fucking hated our unit, but
It was
I
funny.
mean, it was fucking hilarious. All right, there is an intelligence battalion, and we're a bunch of 11 Bravos and 68 Whiskeys who are airborne qualified and Ranger qualified. Like, everybody hated us anyways. So,
Added fuel to the fire. It's perfectly acceptable.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, fucking Synicl, dude, this has been an awesome fucking podcast, man. I appreciate you and your community fucking coming out for this, because I think this is the first time we've had more than 20 active viewers on the podcast. Right now we're at 19. Earlier we were at 24.
Hell yeah.
So absolutely awesome. Thank you so much to you and your community. We will freaking drop you down. We'll close this out, and then once we end the live stream, we can continue to bullshit. So
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, man, dude. It's your community shows out every time, and I appreciate all of them. And then you, obviously, I appreciate you for coming on. Even if we may have had a tiny little snafu on time zones, it's fine.
if you're not an hour late, you're not having fun.
It's fine, right? I will deal with till I can sleep tomorrow. But anyways, no, man, I appreciate it, dude. Phenomenal, great conversation, and I'm glad that your community made you tell the PT story again.
It is a pleasure, and for all my people in here, don't forget, like, follow, subscribe. These guys, they're awesome. Do me a favor. Appreciate you.
Well, yeah, they. So we've gained 7 subscribers since we started. So
Nice.
I get a notification every time somebody does. So.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we'll close this out, and then we'll party after it's said and done. So everybody, appreciate it. That was Synicl, man. Awesome dude. I really do feel for him though sometimes, because he has to deal with Lita every day. So it is what it is. You got your vertically challenged. Oh, she said night, Stalsy. Oh, she must be going to bed. But no, great dude, man. I mean, just his humor, man. Like the way he just tells his stories and his personality and the way he portrays himself on his platform. I mean, yeah, you can say that you tolerate Josh Moore, but you know what? We know the truth.
No, I mean, like he gives a different view on things, right? Whether he's open to that conversation, and I mean more so than a lot of people, in the fact that a lot of people will come on not our podcast, but some other podcasts, and even just TikTok lives and other stuff like that, and they only want to be on the side where they know that everybody agrees with them. And some of the best conversations, the best thoughts and expressions of things happen when you don't do that, when you do have some sort of mutual disagreement with somebody. And, he's got that. He's open to that, and he's all about it. Like I've been in some of his streams before, and, him and his community, they do a phenomenal job. They are great people. For those of you out there, if you don't follow him or are not a part of his community, I highly recommend you do both.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal guy and great community.
I mean, they take the whole agree to disagree thing like literal. Like,
yes.
Yeah, okay, I agree, but see where you're coming from, but I disagree too.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, so what are we having for dinner?
Exactly.
Anyways,
Anybody have a corn dog? So, or in his
got 'em.
case, pudding. I just want to know how many cases of tapioca you got. Okay, that's all I want to know.
Share the love. Share the love.
Share the love.
Well, guys, man, it's been a phenomenal episode. We are horrible at this timing thing. It's supposed to be an hour. We're at an hour, almost an hour and 40 minutes. I'm probably going to
Just
be
counting.
dead, but it's fine. Continue, never stop, never quit. Remember that no matter what you're going through, no matter what's going on around you, that you can do it. You can make it out. There's resources literally everywhere. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And at the end of the day, when all the dust settles, remain and stay unapologetic.
Absolutely, guys. And if you guys aren't already subscribed to our YouTube, you can find us at Unapologetic Veterans podcast on the U of Tubes. Also, this podcast is brought to you by Heroes Media Group and Homefront Sitrep Podcast. You guys can find us on Apple, YouTube, coming to Amazon, and
We're on Spotify.
Exactly. So you guys check us out, downloads, like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell anybody else who just wants to hear 90% of our podcasts are fun. And always stay unapologetic.